Hello, this is Yaso, and today I'm going to talk about inspiration versus copying. But before we get started, I want to say real quick, the drawing that I'm working on right now on the screen is the winner of my raffle that I held on Twitter. And if you weren't able to enter that raffle, don't worry, I will hold raffles in the future for more pictures. But this is the one that I held on Twitter, and I know a lot of you were like, oh, I don't have Twitter, what do I do? Don't worry, I will hold other ones in other places. So anyways, without further ado, this is my winner. Her name, or their name is Adelgius in Twitter. Thank you so much, Adelgius. This is their OC. She, from what I remember, she is a vampire. Her name is Ophelia, and she lives in an ice forest, I believe, or something like that, or an ice planet. I'm sorry, I can't really remember too much about your OC, but she was very lovely to draw, very beautiful. I'm drawing her reading a book, which is her favorite thing to do, in her library by the window, and I made the window look pretty frosty at the end, and I think you'll be able to see that later on. But anyways, yes, thank you again so much, Adelgius, and I will be holding raffles in the future, so look forward to that. Anyways, without further ado, let's talk about the theme for today. And like I said earlier, it's about inspiration versus copying. Now, this topic can go anywhere, really, like artwork wise, merchandise wise, stuff like that, like artist alley stuff that you can sell and this and that. So yes, I want to talk about the difference between the two, because there seems to be some kind of confusion from what I've seen on places like Etsy, and like listening to people talk about their work, or when I see posts on Facebook by family members and this and that, and I just wanted to clear it out. So first things first, I'm going to read you guys the definition of both inspiration and copying. So for inspiration, the definition is the process of being mentally stimulated to do or feel something, especially to do with being creative or something creative. So basically, inspiration is when you look at something and you go, wow, that's really cool. Like, I want to make something now. Like, it doesn't matter what it is, it's something. Like, say I watch a really good movie and I go home and I'm like, I want to write something. I want to be creative. I want to draw something, like an action scene, or I want to work on my OC. I want to work on my story, or, stuff like that. That's being inspired by something. Now, the definition for copying is make a similar or identical version, or version of, to reproduce. So, that would fall into the category of obviously copying, like fan art. So, you watch, like, let's just say I just watched the Inuyasha movie and I'm like, damn, I really want to draw Inuyasha, so I'll draw Inuyasha. That's copying, or like reproducing Inuyasha on the screen. Like, if I did it like a screen cap, that would be me copying Inuyasha. And fan art is a form of copying in a way, but it also falls into inspiration, and I will get into that a little bit more. Before you guys get mad at me and start typing down below about how wrong I am, let me just keep talking here, because the video is not over. So okay, when you're inspired by the media, usually it's either by a show or an image that you see on Twitter or whatever. And for me, at least, when I'm inspired by another artist, I will try to implement things that I like about that particular work into my work, but not necessarily copy, just do similar things to that, if you know what I mean. So let's say I did have a piece recently that I was inspired by. Okay, so I think the most recent doodle that I drew on and I posted on Twitter was a piece of fan art from Monster Hunter, but it was my character and Anjana, I can't remember what their name is. It's like Anjanath or something like that. They're at the bottom, and then there's like a wyvern up in the air. I'm not sure who I was trying to draw there. I think that was Rathalos or Rathian. I don't know, but so yes, this piece I drew was inspired by Monster Hunter because I was watching my husband play Monster Hunter while sitting on the couch with my tablet, and I was like, man, that's a really pretty scenery. I can totally see my OC standing there, on that tree, looking out, and then there's like, all these like wildlife, and then there's like the monsters and whatever. That's being inspired by that. But it also is a little bit of copying because I did copy the design of her armor, and I copied the design of the Anjanath and the Rathalos. Did I copy it off of anything specifically? No, I didn't. So it's not copying in the sense of art theft, because I'm not copying off of anything else. It's a different kind of copying, if that makes sense. It's reproducing something from imagination, I guess, is what I'm saying, and that's totally fine. That's not art theft. That's just you reproducing something from your memory, from what you remember this looking like, or reproducing something that you find pretty from a scenery, but it's not necessarily the same. So it's a little bit of both. Now, the problem comes when you see things like merch, and things like jewelry and makeup brushes or t-shirts or whatever, what have you. When it comes to artwork, inspiration and copying kind of go hand in hand. A lot of times when you're inspired by a show, you want to make fan art of the show, and you're not necessarily copying, but you're copying, you're replicating the character on your screen, whether it be in your style or not, or in their style and stuff like that. Like it comes hand in hand, and it's very good. It's very useful to be inspired and to copy at the same time, because you develop your own skill that way. That's how I develop my skill. I like some things from one artist, I like things from another artist. I kind of just mash it all together until I come out with something, and that's how my artwork came to be. Now, as I was saying earlier, when it comes to things like merch, when it comes to things like t-shirts, brushes, wallets, what have you, a lot of people will say the word inspired. Like, for example, if you go to Etsy and you just type in Zelda, like Legend of Zelda or Zelda, doesn't matter. Type that in and go through the Etsy listings, and you'll see a lot of people write inspired by Zelda, or Zelda inspired necklace, or Zelda inspired mug. And when you look at it, it's Navi or the Triforce. It's like, it's not inspired by, it's merch with already existing like icons and stuff like that. Like if you made like a tunic, a green tunic, and it kind of looked like Link's tunic, but it wasn't like a complete like print of his tunic onto a shirt. It's just a green tunic that's like kind of elfish-y. You can say that that's inspired by Link, or that's inspired by so and so, because it's not an exact copy of that character's design. There's also a lot of people who are stealing artwork putting it on t-shirts and going, oh, this is a Boku no Hero inspired a t-shirt, when it's actually in fact just like someone else's artwork plastered onto a t-shirt and being sold. You know. So that's when inspiration / copying are just bullshit and just completely thrown out the window. You guys are just using that word in order to avoid copyright claims and avoid responsibility when someone calls you out on it, and I think that's pretty shitty thing to do. As far as, you know, artwork goes, I still feel like being inspired by something and copying something kind of comes hand in hand. But when it comes to doing like a complete like fabric, a complete a reproduction of something, like say you take a screen cap and all you do is trace it and put the exact same colors there, basically clean it up a bit, but it's the exact same screen cap. The only difference is that it looks a little bit cleaner because it's not as grainy as it is as the screen cap that you took of that episode that you were watching. That's just copying. That's just straight up copying. You shouldn't be paid to do that. I'm not calling anyone out specifically, but I do know a few artists, quote unquote, who have done that in the past and get a lot of followers and a lot of blind people going, oh my god, this looks great. And it's like, that takes no skill. That's tracing, that's copying, that's stupid. That's not inspired by anything. That's just you tracing and reproducing the same image. Now there's a lot of talk about modern artists who do things like that and get away with it. There's one in particular, what's her name? I think her name is like Janet Hughes or something like that, or Jennifer Hughes. I don't remember. I like completely blocked her from everything. I don't want to be associated with her. I don't want to follow her. I don't want anything to do with her. But basically what she was doing was replicating, like, she would replicate anime screen cap or like anime drawings, like just it some of them are even from like other artists on Twitter and stuff like that. One of them was an actual manga artist who she copied. Actually she copied a lot of manga artists. She would either trace, recreate them, or just literally post the same image into her Instagram or Twitter or whatever and play it off as if she's the one who did it. And she's been called out for it. She has, you know, closed her Twitter for it, like, or not closed, but like, you know, locked it. But she continues to do it because she's continuing to, you know, be supported by the museums that her artwork is in, and I think that's bullshit. I think that's total bullshit, total horseshit. She's a cunt. I don't like her. She can come at me. I don't care. I live in Canada. She doesn't know where the fuck I am. You know, she's in the internet. I'm in the internet. She can talk shit. I can talk shit. It's free. So come at me, bitch. I don't care. But anyways, yeah, she's a prime example of complete copying and not being inspired by anything. She's just a thief, and, you know, don't support her. Don't support anybody who's a thief, because that's fucking shitty, because that's not a skill. That's not okay. I am rambling. I am going off the rails because I don't like thieves. I don't like blatant copies. And like I mentioned earlier, like inspiration and copying come hand in hand when it comes to our artwork. But of course, there are times when copying is very blatant and should not be endorsed, should not be okay. So just use your judgment. You know, if you don't know if someone is copying, you know, something else, then you can always do a Google image search. You can do a Google reverse image search and stuff like that. There's another website where you can do that, and it also helps. But yeah, I've been rambling long enough about this subject. I hope that this was a little bit insightful. If I do come up with more things about this particular subject, I will maybe add them down in the description box. But as of right now, that's all I can really think of. If you guys have any input on this, please let me know. Tell me down below what you feel like, you know, what you feel about like these like Etsy listings and this one that I mentioned earlier. Because honestly, like there's to me there's a huge difference between like trying to profit off of someone else's work and just having fun and being inspired by something and just using minor things to copy in order to create your style. You know what I mean? Anyways, guys, I hope you're having a good day. I'm gonna try and be a little bit more productive. I think the Monster Hunter hype has gone down, at least here in this household. Like we've done pretty much everything in the game, so I think it's dying down. But I mean, there's still so much more to do afterwards. But I'm at a point where I'm okay letting go of the PlayStation for a bit. I think I've racked up to 100 hours in that game already, so it is time for a break. Anyways, thank you guys so much for listening and for watching. Thank you so much again, Adelgius. I am so sorry. I don't know how to pronounce your username. If you're watching this and you want to like put like a little phonetic thing at the bottom, like in the comment section below, that would be great. But anyways, thank you so much for participating for the raffle, and thank you guys for watching this video. And remember to keep doing what you like to do, keep drawing, don't drop that pencil, just keep pushing to do what you want to do. Don't let anybody stop you, because honestly, it's much more fun if you just keep doing it. Okay, bye.